Have you ever been caught with your hand in the cookie jar? What am I saying? Of course you have. You were a child once. As was I. As was everyone else on this planet. Assuming they're not still in their child forms, of course. But I certainly hope that you didn't react the same way Carmelo Anthony did. Once upon a time, a school was holding a track meet, and crappy Carmelo saw this, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to go to this school that's not even my own. I'm going to go in their tents, and I'm going to steal their stuff. So, he was stealing their stuff when another student comes in by the name of Austin Metcalf. Someone who actually went to the school and was like, hey, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. So, crappy Carmelo looks at him. He looks him dead in the eye and he's like, touch me and see what happens. Well, Austin Metcalf had some balls on him, I'll tell you that much, because he touched him, or something of that nature. And as a consequence of his bravery, he got stabbed directly in the heart, effectively having his life brought to an end in an instant. So, murder is bad. I know, pretty shocking, right? But this particular instance gets even worse, as while skin color really shouldn't play a part in this, there are racial optics to be taken into consideration. And what I mean by racial optics is that a guy by the name of Dominique Alexander has recently held a press conference where he essentially politicized this crime. Here he shared some shall we say, unique points of view? Yeah, they're pretty bad.
I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America. What we've seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf, because we respect the dignity of life and loss. And as a minister, I would not attack a grieving family, even if I disagree with them. When I have stood before this podium for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement, I have asked for that same manner of respect. And even when the shoe is on the other foot, I will not do that. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family.
So we'll get around to what he just said in a second. But for context, Austin Metcalf's father went to this press conference prior to them coming out. I guess he wanted to see what they had to say or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what his intentions were. This was not a closed press conference. Anyone could attend. But because a family member of the group of people they are going to try and villainize was there, now all of a sudden it's closed.
But he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words.
I'm glad you said that, Dominique. I actually wanted to bring some of your actions to light. An activist representing accused teen killer Carmelo Anthony has a lengthy criminal history that includes a conviction on child abuse charges, according to local reports. and allegations of domestic violence from a former romantic partner, according to past reports. Minister Dominique Alexander, the appointed spokesperson for the alleged teen murderer, has previously been charged with multiple felonies for which he served almost zero prison time. Back in 2009, Alexander was arrested for shaking and hitting the 2-year-old child of his then girlfriend with an object. So, here we got a child murderer and a child abuser sitting together. You two deserve each other. He was convicted of the charges in 2011, receiving 2 years of probation from a Dallas court. However, in 2016, the activist was sentenced to 2 years in prison for multiple violations of that probation, but only served 8 days in prison for 2 listed infractions of traveling out of state. During the probation period, Alexander was indicted on felony forgery charges in January 2013. In 2017, the minister was arrested on felony theft charges of property damage between $2,500 and $30,000, garnering a possible sentence of 20 years in prison due to his previous forgery conviction. In the most recent legal infraction, Alexander was indicted in 2018 on felony assault charges in a domestic violence case, stemming from his actions against his then-girlfriend and baby mama, Kiana D. Sanders, or Kiara D. Sanders. Don't have my glasses on. Sanders accused Alexander of pushing, choking, and headbutting her during several altercations, but the mother of 2 decided against proceeding with the trial. Alexander is the president and CEO of Next Generation Action Network, which has come to the side of 17-year-old Anthony, a Texas high schooler accused of fatally stabbing fellow athlete Austin Metcalf through the heart at a track meet on April 2nd. NGAN has proudly publicized their efforts to provide aid and comfort to the accused killer, posting on social media a video of activists dramatically escorting Anthony from Collin County Jail while shielding him from media questions. This is what NGAN looks like. This is what people-powered justice looks like, the minister wrote in post. On Thursday, Alexander held a news conference on the case that was crashed by Jet Metcalf, father of the slain teen, and much to the dismay of the minister activist. Well, you can't crash a publicly open press conference, so anyone who truly knows me understands how hard today's press conference was for me, Alexander said in a Facebook post. Yeah, all that virtue signaling sure does take a toll on the soul, doesn't it? I was deeply upset by the fact that the father would do what he did. It showed his true colors and proved that while we were working to handle the situation accordingly, he was undermining the process. Another tweet. This is not an act of mourning. It was a deliberate distraction, an internal disruption of an important moment. I don't care what anyone says. He had no right to be there. Well, El Mundo doesn't agree with you. And then this here is an even lengthier list of his criminal record. As you can see, he's not a very nice guy. I don't really think he has any room to be talking.
Is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism.
No. That's what you're trying to do.
And once I make this statement, okay? All right. There's two more final.
So there was a lot said in this press conference and not a lot of meaning behind much of it. It's actually embarrassing just how much this guy speaks so contemptfully of others in ways that are applicable to himself. And a lot of this, it's a bunch of legal jargon like, this family did not receive 1 penny from the GoFundMe, which I don't believe. And then something about, these are minors, people. We can't disclose anything about anything that happened when everyone knows Austin Metcalf is the victim and Carmelo Anthony is the perpetrator.
For the last week and a half, the Next Generation Action Network has engaged in communications with Frisco ISD to ensure that Carmelo Anthony's due process is not violated. We know that in the state of Texas, there are things that are discretionary things and decisions by the leadership of Frisco ISD, right? There are clear guidance in the state and education code regarding expulsion of a student. We have asked several times. We didn't just rush. We have had these conversations over the last several days. And we have stated that it is just outright wrong to get involved in this. Carmelo Anthony doesn't have to walk. He doesn't have to involve in any senior activities. But Carmelo Anthony is a 3.7 GPA student. And if he doesn't even go to class for the remainder of the year, he would graduate. Okay? We've asked that Frisco do not make a decision in this situation. But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Carmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. And what I have not heard the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on, I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research.
Did any of you at all think to check for clouds and precipitation? Don't you know that stormy weather is a bad place for a track meet? Had it not been gloomy, had the rain not coveted the lands, then Carmelo Anthony never would have felt pressured to do what he did. What we're seeing here is a man so plagued by victim mentality that he cannot fathom the prospect of a black kid hurting a white kid not being a racial matter. And it isn't. It wasn't. Until he made it that way. Alright, so this guy makes Johnny Somalia look like Albert Einstein. But at the end of the day, he was hired by the family. So, what do they have to say? More specifically, what does the mom have to say?
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Carmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband works hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack.
So I'm hearing a lot of me here, talking about her family and her struggles and her perceived struggles, as well as her accomplishments, which seem to be the bare minimum. Talking about raising a kid in a two-parent family home like that's an Olympic achievement. It's not. It's just what you should do. And then she goes to talk about how her family has been harassed and abused. I want to be clear though. I fully believe that both Carmelo Anthony's family and Austin Metcalf's family have suffered harassment. You're going to have a lot of people on both sides who are either really mad about the situation, and then you're going to have a lot of racist black people, to be honest, because they do exist. Who do you think's been donating to Carmelo Anthony's GoFundMe? And I mean, outside of that, she looks pretty young. That's not a compliment. That's an observation. Make of it what you will. But I don't think this mom is ready to be a mom. She must not have raised her son very well if he's going around stabbing people in the heart.
Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution, we believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day. There's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
The Anthony family made a couple of huge mistakes here. Had she weaved together a more compelling narrative, then I actually think Kayla Hayes could have succeeded in garnering human sympathy by calling out her son's actions in the way she did and how they affected her family. But she didn't do that. Instead, she stands in comfort next to a murderer. Her other mistake was hiring Demonic Dominique as their spokesperson activist. Instead of making it easier for people to sympathize with her family, she made it easier to justify the harassment.
I ask, because these racist bigots try to prevent us from standing up for our baby, our boy, he should be afforded the same rights that Kyle Rittenhouse had, Daniel Pena, and all of the people who have claimed whatever their defense was. He should be afforded the same right. Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back. We got that. And he raised more than $2 million publicly, and nobody says anything.
I believe it would have been more effective to have Kayla Hayes shed crocodile tears for the next few minutes, but instead they let this idiot start speaking again, and now he's telling lies, burying his credibility right next to Austin Metcalf's grave with this one. So for those who don't know, the Kyle Rittenhouse case is 4 years old at the time of this video. He did not have an AK-47. It was an AR-15 style weapon, which is completely different. And he did not shoot 3 people in the back. So what differentiates Kyle Rittenhouse and Carmelo Anthony? Well, a lot, actually. This isn't a legal interpretation of Kyle Rittenhouse, but a personal one. I believe it's most accurate to call him a peacekeeping mercenary-style vigilante, one with first aid training and good intentions. Like Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony, he was 17 at the time of his legally charged controversy. And again, he is white, so there is an unspoken racial component being used to say that Carmelo Anthony deserved the same rights on account of his skin color. But does he really? Let's look at the altercations. Kyle Rittenhouse attended a hostile protest with the intention of aiding survivors. He was armed, but not in the service of violence like young Anthony was. It was there that he was harassed and assaulted by 3 ill-intentioned white men, all of which threatened him and hit him with a skateboard, among other things. One had a illegally possessed handgun, and the other was a literal PDF file. With each man's actions, he used force proportionate to the pain he incurred. His actions were strictly responsive. Crappy Carmelo, on the other hand, trespassed on rival school property at an event that he was not welcome at, with the intention of stealing other people's stuff. Upon being confronted, he goaded and taunted another person into touching him in order to act out on his sick, homicidal desires.
So, since they trying to come for us, I call for the community's overwhelming support for this fund. The disinformation that was put out was literally deliberate to prevent you from helping this family. And I want you to give overwhelming support to show them the community united can never be divided. And I'm going to say this again, and this is for everybody. Black people in America, while the current occupant sits at 1600 Pennsylvania, Black people in America don't have to pull the race card. It's what we live as a reality every day.
And here we see that, in spite of her words to the family earlier, which was literally just one brief platitude of Faulk's remorse, the mother doesn't actually care about Austin Metcalf's family or how his actions, being her son's, have affected them, as she is just resting her head on the shoulder of a murderer. And you have to give credit to the cameraman. Demonic Dominique trained him well. This almost feels like one of those animals in danger commercials where they scam old ladies into paying false charities.
It's what we have to teach our children. We don't want to, but we have to. We don't like to, but if we want to sleep at night, we got to. I ain't pulling no race card. I live it. I'm I'm reminded all the time that I'm a black man in America.
So, Dominique, this is the rhetoric you would have me impart upon my children. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening. See, I'm not really into black women. Nothing wrong with that, just my preference. I'm more into the Hispanic women of life. But my children won't be black, so they won't really need to empathize with the black struggle, nor will they feel compelled to indulge the black victim mentality the way you want me to. Instead, they're going to learn that there are pieces of shit in every race. Treat people the way you want to be treated. I think that's a fine moral to live by, a very attractive one indeed.